technical skills that they've been giving themselves, like the technical skills that they do. You will see an Indian person will sit down and go and learn how to code 3 months, and they'll get a 6-figure job. They'll go and learn how to write one programming language or machine learning. Okay, there's somebody in my class, I won't call his name, but I'm sure Elizabeth, you know him, in Futsmina. This is somebody that is just like me. We all came here, we came to the US, did our masters, we did a PhD, no job. He went to sit down and he taught himself machine learning and artificial intelligence. Right now, he's one of the boys heading Amazon. In fact, Amazon even put him in the paper recently. He has a chemical engineering background and a PhD in petroleum engineering. But what he's doing is he's working as a data scientist, and he taught himself machine learning and artificial intelligence. He didn't even go to school for it. That is what the Indians are doing. So I just had to kind of give you this to tie to what you just said about Nehemiah. Now, when you get a vision, sometimes people come across to you, they tell you some things. Fear limits people. And then again, some people are still where they are because of lack of information. We were all there looking for a job. Everybody was just applying. They'll be turning you down. Oil and gas was crumbling. And then we decided, you know what is it that we can do outside this thing? These Indians are heading this IT. Some of them have computer science degrees. Some of them don't. What are they really doing? Those were the questions we started asking ourselves. And that is part of what even led me to where I am today. So information is very powerful. But what do you do with that information you receive is also the next thing. Let me go ahead and share my screen because of time. So this whole presentation is actually very, very conversational. I want it to be such that you will pause me at any time. Can you see my screen well? I don't know what you're seeing though. Slides. Okay, let me stop sharing. I think something is wrong with this PowerPoint. So pause me at any time and then ask questions, please. Okay, it's back on now. So what I want to talk about today is on Agile and then what we call Scrum Master. Now, Scrum Master is one of the roles in an Agile framework. So I will first of all walk you through what Agile is, and then we'll now conclude with the Scrum Master. And the reason why I'm focusing more on the Scrum Master is because Scrum Master role is something that kind of resonates with most of us, especially as females. Most women, ladies, we have this nurturing thing that comes to us naturally. And the Scrum Master, one of the skills of being a Scrum Master is being able to nurture IT people, like developers, people that code, people that test, all those IT guys. You are only just going there to nurture them, to help them to become more agile, okay? So let me just give a brief introduction about myself. I'm Anne. I'm an engineering manager. I'm a certified Agile leader. I'm a system and transformation Agile coach trainer. I'm a speaker and I'm also a mentor. So basically, in summary, what that means is I certify people, I teach, I train, I'm a certified trainer. I'm an Agile trainer, and I'm also an Agile coach, and I have a doctorate in engineering management. So I've weaved all that into this career path that I entered, and that has really helped me. So some of these are just a little bit of the certifications that I have. And then at the end of this information section, if you want to go ahead with anything, one or two of these certifications are things that you need for you to start your Scrum Master journey. So I started as a Scrum Master. After I finished my PhD in engineering management, I tried to get a job. Everybody was telling me, oh, you're too qualified, blah, blah, blah. So I went into project management. So while I was doing project management, that was when I stumbled upon Agile. And I realized that, you know what, a lot of companies are not doing this anymore. So I got my PMP, and that was how the whole journey started. So for me, my interest is helping to influence and empower leadership and teams through agile transformation. So basically, I'm helping organizations to become more agile. So that's what I'm doing right now. I come into an organization and I help teams, I help leadership to have that agile mindset, and also to help the teams to become, to adopt agile practices and behaviors. So I'm a servant leader, I'm a change agent, and I'm focused on leveraging all these agile methods to create high-performing agile organization and teams. So this is just a little summary about me, and I'm jumping right in. So from the story that I gave you about my journey, so I started as a project manager. Now, in project management, most of the projects, they are done in a waterfall way. What this means is you, the project manager, you sit down with the CEOs or the stakeholders or the project sponsors, you guys draft a contract. Now, I'm going to use something that is very relatable for everyone. Let's assume you come to me and you say you want to do a birthday party for your child, and then you have a guest of like 500 people, and I'm the project manager. And remember, a project is anything that has a beginning and an end, something that starts and ends, and something that at the end of it, it comes out with either a result, a product, or a service. But it begins and it ends. We call it project. So if a birthday party is a project, in the sense that you come, you're inviting people to come in for an occasion. You're going to be doing cooking, you will do decorations, you will send out invites, you may even go and, okay, let me not even use that. Let me use wedding, because not everybody really celebrate their children's birthday. So let's say wedding, you have to go and buy clothes, you have to do ashwebi, all those things is a lot of planning. You come to meet me, the project manager. Now the project manager will sit down, you guys will draft a plan, and then you come up with how much do you want to spend? Let's assume you want to spend 1 million naira for this wedding. I'm just making stuff up. 1 million naira is your budget. And then you want the wedding to be in 6 months' time. So now we have two things. We have a scope, we have scope. The scope is to plan your wedding. The time is 6 months. We have a cost, which is 1 million. Those three things, the project manager would now sit down with those things and then collect what we call requirements. Now, this requirement is everything that you want for your wedding, the colors for your wedding, the people that will be coming, So when they talk about requirements, it's all the things that is needed to execute that project. So in Waterfall, what happened is the project manager sits down with all the people involved and they collect everything upfront. And then after you finish collecting all these requirements, then you start executing it. Now in IT, we call it design, but in this situation that I'm using to paint for you now, executing it now is, okay, you begin to contact somebody to do the whole decoration, you begin to contact MC, you begin to contact who will cook. All those are the executing that you're executing. In IT, you're now designing. You begin to put all the codes together the way the person wants it. Let's say it's a website you're building. You're now putting in all the things that is needed. Then implementation is now carrying it out, whereby in this case now, everything has been executed, right? You're now beginning to, it has gotten to a stage where you can now launch it out to people. So the hall is now decorated. Everything has been set. You've brought the cake in. All the people that are needed have been invited on that day, which is exactly the 6 months that have been given. Everything is now set. Then you come to verify. So verification is more like, okay, you go around to be sure this is the color that I want. I gave you green and gold or whatever. It's exactly green and gold. It's the shade I want. The cake is what I want. The number of people that I invited, the kind of food I asked for is what you have, So verification is making sure that whatever you guys agreed in the contract is what it is. And then that's it. Maintenance is more like, okay, now the party has started. You're just making sure that everything goes well. Anything, let's say you invited 500 people and then you did a little extra for maybe extra 50 people that will bounce, like all these wedding crashers that comes in, then you should have something for them. Now in IT, everything here is you sit down, you collect your requirements, like you're building website, you collect it, right? How the website is going to be, you tell the person, the project sponsor will tell the project manager. The developers, these are the IT people. They are all the people that know all the coding, the testing, everything related to IT. They do their own work. Then the implementation is you now launch the website. Then you test it to be sure that, okay, everything is working the way it is. And then you launch it out, and you start using that website. Then when there's any little thing that comes up, that is where maintenance comes in. Let's assume we are using the website and we try to access the website. It keeps coming up with an error. You call customer service and tell them, oh, I have this issue. They'll tell you, oh, okay, we are working on it. That is where maintenance comes in. So this waterfall way is such that everything is done immediately. Not immediately, sorry. Everything is done upfront. You cannot go back. Once you gather the requirements, you cannot go back to this phase. You do all your planning upfront and you do a lot of documentation. So as a project manager, I used to do a lot of documentation. You meet with a lot of people. It's a lot of work. Okay. And then once you do the design, you cannot go back. So it comes down that way. Waterfall, just like water that is falling from up, never goes back. That is how the framework is. What are the challenges with this? The issue with this is, let's assume when you were gathering the requirements, I give you green and gold as the color that I want. And then I go back and I decide that, you know what, I don't even like this color anymore. I want to use pink and silver. What happened is I cannot change it if it's a waterfall framework. We are stuck. So it discourages change. It affects customers in the sense that sometimes when companies have invested millions of dollars, customers change their mind and they cannot go back. They've lost a lot of money. So that is why companies like BlackBerry, they are out of business today. A lot of companies are out of business because they use this waterfall framework in executing their work. All their projects is in such a way that when customers change their mind, they cannot go back. And then all that money that have been invested goes down the drain.
So what you're saying is that this waterfall might sound nice, but it's not ideal.
Yes, and again, it's not ideal for all projects. It's only good for projects that, let's say building, like construction, for instance. You can use waterfall for construction because when an architect sits down and draw a plan, everybody goes with that plan. You can't change it. Changing it is going to cost a lot of money. So there are some projects that waterfall is good for, and it's for simple, unchanging projects. So companies have now realized that this way of executing their project has made a lot of them to be going bankrupt. So what it was the solution? About 17 years ago, I think 2001, is actually more than 17 years now. In 2001, some guys now came together and they came up with this Agile. When they saw that companies were really struggling, they were not satisfying their customers, companies were going bankrupt. A lot of companies have gone extinct because of this waterfall way of executing projects. They came up with Agile. So this is the Agile that we are all talking about today. And Agile started a long time ago, but we are just getting to know not too long ago because of information. You get. So now what is happening is a lot of companies are now transitioning into Agile, all because Agile is a way that is very flexible. Now, if we want to, in the way of Agile is, I have this big project. Instead of me to sit down and plan everything upfront, I do them in what we call in continuous circles. So I break this whole project into little chunks. So let's assume that I can break the project into 10 bits. I focus on that one, make sure that one is perfect before I move to 2. Now, as I'm doing that one, if the market trend changes, it's easier for me to quickly change because I'm only focusing on a small bit and I have not lost a lot of time and money, and give the customers, the people using this thing, what they want. And that is the method that people like Apple, Samsung, all these people that are releasing products every now and then they are using. Amazon, Facebook, Google, all of them, they are all doing Agile now. So what they do is they sit down, they even use Agile to go and do market research. What are people asking for?
So they are
What
going
do
with the
people
flow.
want?
They are going with the flow. Like they
Exactly.
are not stuck in a box way of thinking.
Exactly. Yes. So they are not stuck in a box of way of thinking, and because their method of executing projects is not waterfall anymore, which is planning everything upfront. Because once you plan everything upfront, you can't go back. You can just be going down. Now you are only doing little by little. It makes you to be very flexible. And then Agile is also all about continuous improvement, whereby let's assume today you make a mistake. As you're building this small thing, you can learn from it. And then by the time you're building the next small thing, you are better than the first time because it's always about improving. Agile encourages people to keep improving. And then Agile also involves customer in everything they are doing. So all the Agile frameworks out there right now has feedback loops where customers can come and say, I like this thing, I don't like this thing, for every little thing that is being built. So they are not going to build a big thing and then at the end, customer will say, I don't want this thing. As they are building it small by small, the customer is there telling them, oh, I love it. And then as they're building it, remember, this thing is also something that they can give back to the customer that is giving them back money. So now they are making money faster, they are satisfying the customers, and then also it embraces transparency. Agile is such that everybody is transparent about what they are doing. You can't hide anything because let's assume you come and tell me now to plan your wedding and I want to use Agile to do it. We can break that wedding with that 6 months plan instead of doing everything up front and you go and sit down in your house and wait till the last day and come for the wedding. We can do this whole thing in chunks by saying, okay, this 1 month or these 2 weeks, let's focus on only decoration. And then because you're focusing on only this little bit, you tend to do a very good job at it. Because research has found out that people that even multitask end up doing rubbish, or people that tend to be doing too many things at the same time, they never get effective at what they are
And I
doing.
think that's something we women are very, we love to multitask. You're breastfeeding a baby, you're making a call, you're cooking. But
right.
If we bring it into our lives, we can ask ourselves, am I doing waterfall or am I doing Agile with my lifestyle? Am I being flexible?
Exactly.
Am I adapting? Yes, you have a degree, but must you get a job with that degree, or are there other
Right.
opportunities? So we as women need to open our minds and say, look, you need to adapt to the changing times. And I really want to challenge our sisters who are here and those who might listen to this recording that, look, yes, you have a degree. Your mindset was to get a job with that degree, but you need to learn how to adapt. And even in Nehemiah, where we read, Nehemiah was the king's cupbearer. He wasn't a warrior. He wasn't a warrior. When I was looking for a scripture that would really emphasize Agile, I was thinking of who is that person that looks like he had a calling, but then along the way discovered that, look, I can do this. I can be a builder. He even became a warrior at the tail. He became a war person. He became a soldier. But then remember that Nehemiah started out as being the king's cupbearer. Done, Anne. Over to you, Anne. Maybe we've lost her. Anne, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I didn't even know that I was muted. So I said, so what I was saying is you've said it all, and you're very right. It's not about the degree that you have. Like for me, I'm coming from a chemical engineering background, but right now I'm working with IT people. You know, I've seen people that read law. A lot of lawyers are doing this. I've seen pharmacists. In fact, nurses. I've personally trained a lot of nurses that are doing Agile now. And do you know what they are doing? They are using their Agile certification to work in hospitals. If you type Scrum Master in a hospital, you will see them. They are there. As long as that hospital has a website, they have apps that you can download into your phones. They are looking for Scrum Masters. So you have to think outside the box, think outside your certification. And that Agile mindset is being able to be very flexible, really, and being able to embrace change. Do not keep yourself within a box and think, okay, yes, my degree is chemical, so I must work in oil and gas. That's not the era we are in anymore. The era we are in now is an era of information. That information gives you a lot of power that will transform your life in a second and you'll be shocked. So Agile is not just for organizations. And that's the next section I'm actually going to be teaching is how to be Agile as an individual, how to have this Agile mindset that will help us to make our lives better. Because everybody really needs to be very Agile in thinking. Okay, so let me go back to this slide. In using Agile to develop, for every of this cycle, and the cycle can be 1 month or less, you do everything that you still do in the waterfall. You gather requirements, you plan, you design, you develop, you release, you track and monitor. Everything is done within that short time. So this is not like you're eliminating all these phases. You will be doing the same thing, but you will now be doing them focusing on only very small things at a time. So it's just, let's assume now that we break the event of planning a wedding into little chunks. Then I say, okay, these 2 weeks will be dedicated to only who will come and do the to the cake, the person that will do the cake. So because I'm not focusing on just that aspect of the project, it helps me to be very good in it, in the sense that remember some people even do these circles in 1 week, like Netflix. I heard their spring circles, which is what we call the circles in Scrum, is 1 week. So in 1 week, they are doing everything you're saying here. So you sit down, you say, okay, these are the names of all the people that can do this cake for me. You have enough time now to begin to ask for, you call up people, you visit them, you have enough time to check all their work. So you're not just going to be doing rush, like, okay, because you don't have time, you just call up only one person, and then at the end of the day, you're disappointed. Okay? So it's such that you have all the time in the world to, sorry, 1 minute. Okay, so when you break things into little chunks like that, it helps you to be able to focus on and be more effective. Okay, so that's the beautiful thing with doing Agile. And let's move on. So what is this Agile that we are saying? So Agile is a mindset, is the ability for us to move quickly. So when you're doing Agile, just like the word Agile, you have to be very, very flexible, and you have to be fast. You have to think outside the box. You have to be very transparent. One of the Agile principles is pillars. One of the Scrum pillars is being transparent. You have to be very, very transparent in all your things. You don't hide things. You have to have the ability to change and respond to that change. So when you get information, you move fast with it. And then Agile is also,
Annie, I
yes?
have a question.
Yes.
Because as you're talking about transparency, I'm wondering, we live in an age where I think we who were maybe born in Nigeria particularly, we're very superstitious about transparency.
Well, there's when I say transparency, I'm talking about transparency more in, yes, when you tell somebody to be transparent, there have to be boundaries in this thing. You cannot just go out there and be spilling all your business out. No, that's not being transparent. When they say being transparent, Okay, for instance, now, if somebody comes to meet me and they say they want to go on this agile journey, I expect them at least to walk me through their struggles, their challenges. If you know this is what you need, tell me how it is. Okay, I'm not very good in communicating with people. How can I get better in communicating? Those are being the transparent now, not that you come and be telling me some really personal things. No. So in an organization, being transparent is when you have issues. Like when an agile team has some issues with whatever they are doing, instead of covering it up, you quickly let your stakeholders or your managers know that, see what we are going through. That is what having the agile mindset really is. So it's being able to be bold enough to call out challenges that is stopping you from meeting your goals. But you will not now say, because you're being transparent, you go to work and be telling your team people some really personal things that is not their business, or going online and be saying some stuff. No. So there's some boundaries really to some of these things. And then Agile is very good for complex, fast-paced, and uncertain environments. So what this basically means is, a lot of times, some of these projects that are being done, they don't know what the future is. They only know that right now, let me say, now you're doing business, people like wearing white t-shirts. You start giving them white t-shirts. Then 3 months down the line, they suddenly change. What do? That's a complex environment is something that you cannot really predict. And it's fast changing, it's fast paced, it's changing very fast, because if you look at the world right now, things are going super fast. Children that were being born even 5 years ago, they are not doing what babies of 1 year now are doing. Not to talk of 10 years, not to talk of we that are even, almost grandmothers. So everything is going at a very fast pace. A little child now will come and be telling you some stuff, and you'll be like, wow, I didn't know all these things until I was a teenager. How did you even know all these things? So the environment is very uncertain. And as you're doing some of these projects, remember, companies are not there because of the fact that, like, let's say a company that is an IT company, for instance, that is manufacturing softwares, or let me even say like Apple now making all these phones. They're not making it because they just like how beautiful Apple or Samsung phone is. They're doing it because they want to sell it and get money. They are all there because more to satisfy someone. They are meeting people's needs. But people's needs are constantly changing. Your need today might not be your need tomorrow. You may like white today, tomorrow you will say it's orange now. So people are just very, very unpredictable. So Agile helps you to be able to meet that need, that demand, because you're flexible, you're embracing change, it helps you to, and responding to it, it helps you to be able to keep up, and your business will not fold. But if you're very rigid, like I heard a story of someone that is a printer. He prints, like, now many people are not printing again, especially people that have smartphone. Very few people are printing, even especially this COVID. A lot of companies now are even using their phones, like you just have the QRs in your phones and they scan it. That's it. You don't have to print anything again. So for somebody that is a printer, what happens to that person? The person is already losing money, losing business, losing customers, because nobody's coming to print. And that's what he does for a living. So now, maybe 3 years ago, it was okay for him. But right now, because of COVID, a lot of things have changed. And COVID also made so many companies to even be embracing Agile, because they now saw that, we were not even doing the right thing, So because of all this uncertainty everywhere, people think outside the box now, and they embrace whatever the trend is. Agile also involves a lot of understanding and collaborating. It's a lot of talking. Agile is a lot of talking. You have to love talking to people, because you will be doing a lot of communication. As a Scrum Master, you will be doing a lot of talking. Now, even if you're not a talker, don't get scared. There's a point where you don't have to be talking like nonstop. I know if I try to analyze careers. I think pastors are the ones that even talk more than everybody else. Scrum Masters don't talk up to pastors. Okay, so it's not that bad, but you should be able to want to communicate with people. And I always tell people that as long as you have parents, you have siblings, you have uncles, you have cousins, you have children, you have husband, you have wife, whatever, as long as you have family and you talk to them, you will be able to be a good Scrum Master. Because being a Scrum Master is just talking to your team. Who are the people in the team? We will talk more about that. Okay, but you are always talking. You don't wake up in the morning, especially if you don't live alone. If you live with people, you are not going to just sit down and your mouth will be sealed all day. You'll be talking to someone, right? So once you can do that effectively, you can be an effective Scrum Master. Then also, Agile encourages a lot of continuous improvement, where people are always learning, innovating, and they are very flexible, because the goal is to help them to become high performing so that they will be getting results. So you also have to be a good learner, somebody that loves learning. You have to also have that in you. So let's look at the flavors of Agile. So flavors of Agile really is all the different kinds of Agile frameworks that we have. We have Scrum, we have Safe, Kanban, Spotify, Less, Scrum and Scale, Extreme Programming. We have so many other ones, but these are the common ones. Now, for you to, Scrum, Safe, and Kanban, these three are the ones that you always be hearing a lot. Now, in terms of certification, Scrum and Safe are the two certifications that a lot of times they want to see people have. Scrum certification or Safe certification. Now, this is what some of those certifications look like. The Safe certifications have something like this. You will see Safe written on it. The Scrum certification, something like this. You will see, this is what Scrum Alliance, this is what their logo. And then there's another one, scrum.org. Okay, so these are just, then the Kanban is something like this, but this is different though. So these are all, these are the main three ones. So once you have this, just these first two, you are good to go. Okay, now let's look at Scrum. Scrum is the most popular Agile framework. There are three roles in a Scrum team: the Scrum Master role, the Product Owner role, and the developers or the development team. Now, in Scrum, which is a type of Agile, you only need one Scrum Master, one Product Owner, and 3 to 9 developers. These developers are the people that do the real work. They are the main IT guys. So when you hear somebody is a developer, it can be somebody that is a business analyst, somebody that is a user interface developer, a front-end developer, back-end developer, DBAs, which is database administrators, data scientists. Everything depends on what the project is all about. Okay. So everything depends on so they are the ones that have the skill. Now, the product owner is a one person in the Agile team. And this person is the one that always communicates with the business people. So the product owner is a liaison between the key stakeholders, the Scrum Masters, and the team. So he determines what these developers will be working on every cycle or every sprint. In Scrum, we call them sprints. So if it's a 2-week sprint, within that 2 weeks, the product owner is the one that comes up with what they will be doing. Then you, the Scrum Master, your work is to make sure that the Scrum process is smooth. Now, this Scrum process that I'm talking about is, we have what we call ceremonies. Scrum ceremonies, there are 4 ceremonies. You facilitate them. So Scrum Masters are facilitators. A facilitator is like, you schedule meeting, you go into the meeting, and then you have an agenda. The rest is for people to follow the agenda. So you're sitting there and making sure that people are doing what is.
We lost you, Anne. Anne, are you there? Hey, Anne, we lost you as well. Anyway, let's take this opportunity. If you have a question so far, please don't be too shy to come off mic. I think she's lost her presentation device, or maybe her network went totally off. Any question in the house before she comes back? Let's use this opportunity. Don't be shy, you. Does this make sense to any of us yet?
Yes, it does. It does to me.
Okay. Because to be honest with you, I remember before I got my current job, there were so many opportunities on Scrum Master training that she's doing also. And what used to shock me was the amount of money that they were ready to pay you. And I would be like, wow. So I had a chat with Anna and she was like, even she never knew the potential and she just started to do the training and that was how she got her current job. So I felt, oh, why not bring it to the sister? So please have an open-minded way of thinking about this. It's really, really um, a potential field. No matter where you are at your career, you can pick it up. And are you back? You can pick it up. It is something worth giving an opportunity. Joyce, you are muted if you were talking to us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Sorry,
wanted to say.
the thing went off.
That's
Can you hear me now?
yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. I'm so sorry. It just suddenly went off. So you can let me. Where did I stop?
You were at that wheel where you have Scrum Master, you have project.
Okay, so yes. So let me
We
continue
don't
from there.
have
So
the slides again.
yes, it's I'm coming back. It's coming back now. The
Okay.
internet just went off like that.
Yeah, I noticed there were
So
both of you that dropped.
yeah, so we have those three skills. I will just be talking until the slide comes back up. So the Scrum Master role is a one person. So you are responsible for. So what Scrum Master means is a master of Scrum. So you know everything about Scrum, and then you're making sure that your team is continuously improving and becoming more agile. So you're helping your team to have that agile mindset. So being a Scrum Master, there are some skills that you need. These skills are skills that everybody, me and you, we have, as in it's not any big deal. The training will only help you to know more about Agile and Scrum, so that you will be able to help your team. Because once you know what your job is, you will also be able to help your team. So you support your product owner and you support your developers, you support the organization. And then for the product owner is a domain based position job. What I mean is you have to be very good in, let's say, healthcare, for instance. Okay, like me now that have a degree in chemical engineering. If I want to be a product owner in an oil and gas, it will be easy for me to be a product owner in an oil and gas because I have that background. Now, if you are in healthcare, like a nurse now can be a product owner in healthcare because whatever projects they are doing there, you will be able to connect. So product owners are more domain focused, but Scrum Masters are not. The Scrum Master role is for any, like you can work in any organization. Have you don't have to have any of those skills to be like you don't have to have a degree in anything to be able to get that role. Now, for product owner, again, even if you want to go the product owner route, something I would like to say is some people would have worked in the organization for a long time. So you may not have that degree or that background, but because you have worked there, you have some experience around what they do. It will be easy for you to also navigate and switch to the product owner role. So let's look at some of the skills that are needed to be a Scrum Master. You have to be a facilitator. Facilitator is you schedule meetings, you have an agenda, just like what our sister is doing. That's facilitating. Send out meet agenda, I like to say maybe you are like an MC, but it's not really MC. You are just responsible for making sure that the meeting goes exactly according to what is supposed. Like if you have an agenda, follow the agenda. That's it. And a lot of times when you even send out some of those meetings, you may not even have to talk. You're just there quiet. You only create that environment for them to come and talk. A servant leader is someone who goes beyond and above. Like most Scrum Masters, you have to be very humble, because even though it's a leadership position, because Scrum Master roles are all leadership positions. In fact, a lot of companies, as you're going in there like a manager. The Scrum Master role is like taking over from the project manager, because in some organizations now that are going agile, they are scraping the role of project management and replacing it with Scrum Master. And then some organizations also, the project manager becomes the product owner, so they switch that role and they give them one role in the agile team. So depending on what you want, if you've been a project manager, you can say, okay, I want to be a Scrum Master, you will do it very well. That's the route I took, from project management to Scrum Master. Now, as a Scrum Master, you will be doing some things. You're supporting, you have to have empathy, because you're dealing with a lot of developers. And some of these developers are the ones, all of them are the ones doing the work. You are not doing any work. You are only just making sure that they are doing their work. And you're not going to be lording over them. You'll be subtly doing it, you're nurturing. So that's why I say most Scrum Masters is good for ladies, because they have that nurturing thing, where you come and you'll be like, oh, Mr. A, how are you doing? How's your family? So what's going on with your tax? Have you finished it? What's stopping you? Then maybe the person might say, okay, I had some issues. My mother was sick, or I didn't have internet or something. You will now not start scolding them or anything. You come from a place of empathy, so you make them your friends, and then you make sure that, okay, so what stopped you from finishing your tax last time? Try and finish it. If you have any issues, let me know. Okay. And then you help to remove whatever obstacles is there for the team. That's what I just said. So as a servant leader, you're supporting them by removing what we call impediments or obstacles. And impediments can be anything that is stopping them from meeting their goal. So those are the things you do. And that's why I said it's very easy as women, because, we women have this natural thing of helping people we nurture people to become the best of themselves. So it's a role that, even though you see a lot of guys still doing it, you find women being very successful as Scrum Masters. You're protecting the team from distraction. When the stakeholders come and say, okay, I want you to do this task for me, and that task was not part of what the product owner have told them to do within that time period, that sprint or that cycle time, you have the authority to say, no, the team cannot do it. So you're like a mother hen as well. You're there to say, well, no, this person has been doing a lot. I don't want this person to get burnt out. Your work can wait. Because it's a leadership position, they respect whatever the Scrum Master says as well. And then you're always collaborating with your team. You're communicating with them. You're reaching out to them, finding out how are they doing. Some Scrum Masters even go above and beyond. Before COVID made everybody to almost go remote, and then now people are going back. Some Scrum Masters even know their team members' family, their children, they know their birthdays, they call them outside work hours. Well, those are Scrum Masters that have that extra skill, or should I say extra grace, But if some people are very good, they're very friendly, but you don't have to. But just remember that when you're friends with these developers, it makes your work easy, because you come to work and all of you are very happy with each other. You are a coach. A coach is what you're only coaching them on is on Agile, nothing else. And you learn some of this, what to coach them on in the Scrum Master training that you will be doing. Then you'll be able to coach them, because then you know that, okay, this Agile principle is not being carried out properly. Let's work on it. Let's improve on it. Then you help the team in following the Scrum principles as well. And all these are tied together. So all these are skills that are needed to be a Scrum Master. You are also custodian and process owner. So the process owner is the Scrum process. everything related to Scrum because it's an agile team, so they are doing Scrum. So you are just making sure that they are doing the right thing. Even though you're not coding, you're not testing, you're not doing anything, you're just making sure they are doing their work. Okay. Now, the Scrum Master job is really high demand. Like you can see, the growth rate since 2015 is 400%. This is from LinkedIn. 400% increase is in high demand. Like they are seriously looking for people. You can see like this one now, growth rate. See the growth rate is in orange versus median base salary in dollars. See how much is growing. The only job that is growing more than this one is sales engineer, but Scrum Master is really topping, as in they can't even fill the role. All these ones are like software engineer. This is even IT, data architect, IT, analysts. All these ones are some of these are IT roles. But you can see that they are seriously looking for them because a lot of organizations are going agile. And you need a Scrum Master. You need one Scrum Master for every agile team. Now, for product owner, you need one product owner as well. So these two roles are in high demand right now. Okay. Product owner role, though, grew 24%. The reason why this is not growing so much like Scrum Master is because within the organization, let's assume I have been working in I'm going to use common names we all know. I've been working in Netflix for the past 5-6 years, and then Netflix decides to go agile. Who do you think they are going to give the role of the product owner? They will give me. So what they are doing now in organization is they are training people within the organization to take up some of these roles. They are asking people, do you want to be a product owner? Do you want to be a Scrum Master? Let's train you, and then we'll move you into this role. Do you like it? So that is what is happening. But there's still a lot of 24% growth is even still very, very high. But you can see that the Scrum Master one is way higher because the companies are not able to get enough people to fill these positions, and they are opening up a lot of agile teams, and they need Scrum Masters to come and help to drive the process. Okay, now where do you work? You work with in IT and services, you work with financials, you work with computer, insurance, hospitals, everywhere, anywhere you can think of. I don't know, for those of you that are, I'm sure you won't know some of these places I'm going to call, but companies like Walmart, I don't know if you know Walmart. Walmart is like the biggest grocery store in the US. They take Scrum Masters on a daily basis. CVS, Walgreens, these are pharmaceuticals. They take Scrum Masters. Even people that sell clothes, McDonald's that sell food, they are taking Scrum Masters. I know people that are working there as Scrum Masters, all because they have a website, they have apps, they have IT people that are
Hi,
working
Anna, you are
behind the
making me
scene.
feel like whatever I'm doing now, I'm wasting my time because the salary
No.
scale.
The thing is, you are not. You're not wasting your time. I'm just. You can convert it. You can switch. You can transition. Whatever. But please, just you're not wasting your
No,
time.
but
But
I
the
was
role
actually
is just.
surprised when I did a search on Scrum Master on Seek, and I saw the amount of, Seek gives you an estimate of how much that
How
profession
much
is
they pay them?
needed. Yeah, I was so
Yeah,
shocked, like,
yes,
wow.
and they pay them. That's another thing. They pay them very well. They pay
It's
them
like
better than
madness.
project
It's like
managers.
madness. The way they pay
Yes,
them is just unbelievable. It means that my sister Anna is
exactly.
very rich.
Oh my God, please do. No, they pay Scrum Masters way better than project managers. That's the truth. So, and project managers work more. And now a lot of companies are moving these project managers into Scrum roles, and they pay them well, and then the job is in high demand. In fact, there was somebody that was telling me the other day that Scrum Masters now, some organizations, remember, this whole thing is about where you are. Some organizations pay even more than what they pay medical doctors right now in the US for Scrum Masters, as in they pay them that good. So on the high end, they are earning even more than medical doctors. And to be a medical doctor, you'd have invested a lot of money. But as a Scrum Master, all you have to do is just have a bachelor's degree, and then you take the certifications.
I have a
And the
question, Anna.
certifications, yes.
I've done my Scrum Master certification. I now
Okay,
need
which
a
one did
job.
you do?
No, it's a question I'm framing.
Oh, okay.
Let's just imagine now that I've done the Scrum Master certification
Okay,
and I now
yes.
want a job. I know most of these jobs, they will tell you maybe 3+ years experience as a
No,
Scrum
no, that's
Master.
the
So,
thing. For Scrum Master, you don't have to. In fact, you can have 1 year experience. The only thing is, I will not advise anybody, because Scrum Master is not a career where you just come in. They expect you to be doing something. So it's
something
all
else.
about transferable skills. So you can transfer your skills, like as a project manager or engineering manager. You can transfer those skills and say you're looking for a Scrum Master role, you became certified, and you're now looking for where you can work as a Scrum Master. You will get somewhere. That's the beautiful thing with Scrum. You don't have to have 3 years of experience, or even if it's 1 year you decide to put, you don't even have to have so much. If you don't even put anything at all. So as long as you have those other experience that have some of these skills, because some of these skills are transferable, and you can defend them, that you are doing them already where you are. That's all you need. So nobody studies Scrum Master in school, and nobody goes to do IT or Scrum Master or anything. So they don't expect you to come out. Because Scrum Master is a leadership position, they expect you to be coming from somewhere. And this is actually a very common interview question, because they always ask you, what is your journey? What made you to transition and become a Scrum Master? So you have to be coming from somewhere. So whatever you're doing right now is still very,
Our
very
sister
relevant.
Peju has her hands up. Go ahead, Peju.
Oh, good evening. She wasn't talking. I wanted her to say. My own question is about she was mentioning things about product management. So I'm looking like, what if someone has done a lot of product management but doesn't have a certification to it? Does it still work?
Yes, you can. So the challenge is, if you've done project management, that you've worked as a project manager, but you don't have project management certification, whether it can still work for you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes, you can still use that. So you don't have to that's the thing. Project management, really, when they started, a lot of people didn't have certifications, and you can get a job as a project manager. Now, Scrum, when they started several years ago, people too did not need certification. But now that the thing is flooding everywhere, the certifications are all over the place. They always ask, at least for the basic, which is this SAFe and Kanban. SAFe and Scrum. Either a Scrum certification or a SAFe certification. So they always just ask for this now, plus whatever experience you're coming with. And then the minimum is a bachelor's degree. So they don't expect you to have a degree, a certification in project management, but I will advise you to have an Agile certification before you start looking for Agile jobs. The reason why is because you don't have Agile experience. So the certification helps to give you that edge. And also the fact that you're coming from a project management background, you are able to transfer a lot of things you do as a project manager. Are all these things I've listed here, except maybe the coaching, but you still do all these things. So being able to say that you have these skills and you want to transfer these skills and become a Scrum Master, those are the things now that you will do. But remember, it's not going to come easy. That's the truth. You have to do a lot of studying. After getting the certification, or even before you get the certification, I always advise people, do a lot of reading, because when you go for interviews, they can tell if you're really faking the whole thing, because some people can even put 5 years of experience, they go for interview, they bounce them. So it's not by the years you put, it's when you go for interview and you can defend it that, yes, I can do this job, they will give you the job. But because of the fact that a lot of people are now becoming certified, it's always advisable to have at least 1 or 2 Agile certifications before you start applying. So I see a question that Joyce is asking about, what of as a teacher? Let me give you a story. Several years ago, I met one lady. She works in Microsoft. She's an African American. So this was so many, I can't even remember when again, but it's been a while. Now she used to teach in a high school. high school in the US is like secondary school in Nigeria. So she used to teach there, and then she just got very tired, very bored. If I'm not bored, she broke because she said they were not paying her well. And she needed something that would help lift her in terms of finances and everything. And what she did was she went for a boot camp. In that boot camp, the boot camp was to help her, it was a project management boot camp. They have all these boot camps all over the place. She went for that boot camp, and in the boot camp, they trained her. And then I think she ended up getting a PMP. I'm not sure. I can't remember much details. But after that boot camp, she got her first project management job, which was as a project manager in Microsoft. That was when I met her. She was working in Microsoft at that time. So I met her in a conference, and she was just sharing her story with me. When she went for her interview, they asked her, have you worked as a project manager before? Guess what she said? She said, well, I have not had like a technical project management role, but let me tell you what I have been doing. I have been working with stakeholders. Who are my stakeholders? My students.
Their
I'm telling
parents,
you exactly what she told
my
me.
bosses.
I've been working with my stakeholders,
Beautiful.
my students. And what is my project? Every term, here they call them term, from August to December, there's a project, right? Because it's starting, it's ending. That was this. She said, here their interviews are very conversational.
Yeah.
She said the project what started is ending. Now, I, as a project manager, I was responsible for making sure
Delivering.
that I was yes, in fact, that's the word. She said by the time she finished, they gave her the job.
Even me, I feel like clapping for her now.
So what I'm trying to say is a lot of times this whole thing is how you can, the skills you already have, how you can sell it. You don't have to go and even be putting you don't have to doctor anything. Sell the skills you already have within you and connect them to what you want.
I think it's a question of us, like the beginning slide where you had that you described the waterfall, then you described the Agile mindset, and we're able to look at so it's being able to find, so the next one, the one for Agile, it's being able to locate your mindset. Define your experience. No, the one with the wheel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's being able to identify these aspects of your experience. So where you can actually say that, yes, I've actually not had a technical role as an Agile, but then I've been able to track and monitor, and especially with what you know now after your certification or after your training, this will now become more realistic.
Right. And then you can say, well, after I went to do the training because I saw that this is something that resonates with me. And then I want to transfer the skills I've already developed in my current career to become a Scrum Master. So this is how white people too grow. They transfer a lot of their skills. And that's how you will see somebody will tell you today that, oh, I read law, and they are working in Amazon, or they are working in Microsoft, and you'll be wondering what is the connection, what they are doing. Like my friend now that is a PhD petroleum engineer is doing data science. What he did was he learned it, and then he connected, because as a PhD holder, there are some things, during his PhD, there were some skills that he also developed. And apart from those skills, he also had to go and learn, because this one now is technical, right? And this guy did not do anything. He has never worked as a data scientist. All he did was train himself. He did not even go for boot camp or pay anybody. He does not have certification. He sat down, he was using videos, he bought books, and he taught himself from A to Z. He finished and he did some projects. There are some websites that you go, there are some free projects. He took those projects, he did all of them, and then he put each one of those projects on his resume. And his first job was Amazon, and he has been in Amazon, and he's doing so well for them to feature him in their papers. And this guy went to Futmina. He's not like, he was my classmate. So he's not somebody that I know hearsay. So you can actually connect these things without doctoring any resume or feeling like, okay, I don't have the experience. But when you're when you're arranging your CV or your resume, just make sure that you highlight the skills that you have developed over time that connect with what you want right now. So that's what I have for you today. And so, okay, for the role of the product owner, so some of these things are what the product owner does. They define the vision. So what is the team really doing? So they are the ones responsible for, they define the vision, they take the vision to the team and let the team know that, okay, this is what we are going to, this is the project that we are working on. So just like the word product owner, they are responsible for whatever product is coming out of the project. Okay, so they manage what we call product backlog. Now in Agile and in all organizations, we always have what is called the product backlog, which is where they put all the things as the product owner is talking to the stakeholder, he's listing them, is a list of all the conversations that the product owner is having with the stakeholders. And then when he finishes having those conversations, he will prioritize them based on what is necessary now. Remember, I told you Agile is all about building things small, small, small. So you only build what is very, very important, what is crucial, what will give you most value now. So the product owner is the one that prioritizes those things. When he finishes prioritizing it, then the developers or the development team will now pick it up and start working on it. So they also oversee the development stages by asking questions, okay, what, and clarifying questions, and then anticipating client needs. Remember, they are the ones always talking to the customers or the stakeholders or the managers. So they are the voice of the customers in the Agile team. So they talk to them and then they come to the Agile team to give the information back to the Agile team. They act as a primary liaison. They evaluate the product progress. How are they doing? Is it better or not better? They take that information back to the stakeholders to let them know. And then they also come back to the Agile team to tell the Agile team how what the stakeholders are also saying. And then they participate in what we call the daily Scrum. The daily Scrum is one of the Scrum ceremonies or Scrum activities. They are the ones that have the power to terminate a sprint. So a sprint is the name of what we call the cycle in Scrum. So it can be 1 month or less. So they are the ones that have the power to terminate the sprint.
So like a
it's a
circle for
leadership role.
each, Anne, that's like a circle for each broken down aspect of the project. Like you had said, like breaking the project into parts. Oh, we've lost your slides again.
Yes. Oh no, I want to open up Scrum. I didn't want to go that far, but I just want to Google what the Scrum circle looks like so I can show all of you what it looks like. So that will help a little. Let me just share my screen again. So in Scrum, we have what is called the sprint. Now, just like the example that I gave you about like planning the wedding now, right? Let's assume that we are planning the wedding and then we decide, okay, this is most important now. You focus on what is most, okay, when you want to plan your wedding, what will you start with first?
You need to know, like you started with us at the beginning, you need to know the scope, right? Like how large the wedding will be. You need to know location.
Okay. Yes.
Because you need a husband and a wife, sorry. You need a bride and groom. The requirements.
Yes. Yes, I know we need bride and groom, but what I'm saying is when you start the planning, what will be the first thing that you would like to look at? You would like to plan?
How much do I have?
Your budget. The budget.
No, apart from the budget. Now let's assume that you have your budget, wedding. You have your husband and wife, you know the day of the wedding. Now, as an individual, where will you now start your planning from that you feel this is the first thing I want to get done?
Location.
Okay. So for you, why do you think location? Why will location be the first thing for you?
Because it will determine the size I'm expecting, like how large the population or the people I want to invite.
Okay.
things I need to take care of? Like, do I need extra covering? Am I thinking of using the location as both the wedding place and the reception?
Awesome. Now you have your reason, right? So the reason why I'm asking you all this question is because this is how these organizations think as well. They come up with these projects, and then when they come up with the projects, the whole project is what? To plan for okay. Am I sharing my screen at all?
No, dear, you're not.
I'm not, right? Okay. So they come up with a project,
Do you
and
think you
then
can
the
send me
project.
the slides quickly if it's giving you a problem? On
Okay,
what?
no, I want to show you the spring
Okay.
circle. That's what I'm opening up now. It's
Okay,
not on the
we can
slide.
see it now.
So
Mhm.
when you come up with the project, now you divide that project into, for you now, the first thing that you want to do is to go and get the location, and you have your reason. Now that is the same thing, this how these organizations think. So within that, what we call sprint is the circle. So you have your product backlog, which is where the product owner, the 1 minute, please, sorry. So you have your product owner that is talking to these business people. Now, I imagine that you are the business person. The product owner now gets information from you in this product backlog. What they put in the product backlog is all the things you have told them about the wedding. Everything that you need about the wedding is what they will put here. But as they're putting it here, the product owner now will come to you and say, okay, so what do you need the team to execute now? Within, these people say 2 to 4 weeks. Actually, it can be 4 weeks or less, because some organizations do 1 week, depending on how fast they release. Release is making it available for people to start using. So let's say our sprint cycle is 1 week. So the product owner will now ask you, within 1 week, what do you want us to do right now within 1 week? Then you will now tell the product owner that I want the location to be gotten so that we can tell. So it gives us an idea of how many people we can invite. Then the product owner will now go back to this product backlog and prioritize it, meaning he puts it highest on top of the product backlog. So he puts high priority on it. And then the developers, which are these guys that will be doing the work in the Scrum team, they will pick the work and put in what we call sprint backlog. So the sprint backlog now is the only thing they are supposed to focus on within the duration of the sprint. So in this sprint backlog now is what the product owner has prioritized, which is, okay, let's go and look for location. So within 1 week, they will now make sure that all they are focusing on is getting location, because that is the main priority from the business. Then at the end of this 1 week, we have another event. Now, this sprint backlog comes out of what we call the sprint planning. Now, this whole thing is Scrum. So in this sprint planning, this is where the sprint backlog comes out of, where they all talk about, the product owner will now tell them, this thing that you guys are picking, this is what the person wants. The location should be like this. It should not be facing the road. It should have AC. It should have carpet. All the description of what the customer wants. You tell the product owner will tell them. All that conversation happens in what we call the sprint planning. The Scrum Master only facilitates. What that means is you send out an invite, and then you have an agenda and they are following the agenda. You can just even be there quiet, depending on how matured your team is. If it's a team that is made up of people that are very chatty and talk too much or very distracted, you will have to be pointing them back to the agenda, telling them, okay, we have just 1 hour or 30 minutes left. Can we go back to the agenda? Let's stop talking about sports and politics. All that is facilitation techniques that you will learn in the trainings that you'll be doing. Then the sprint backlog comes out. In the sprint backlog now, everything that needs to be done, the developers know it 100%. Then the sprint starts. At the end of the sprint, okay, when the sprint starts, every day of the sprint, because it's 1 week sprint, every day in this 1 week, we do what is called the daily Scrum. The daily scrum is where the developers, the product owner, and the scrum master come together for 15 minutes. No, the stakeholders don't come for this daily scrum. It's only the scrum team. They come every day for 15 minutes to talk about the progress that they are making towards whatever they have put in this sprint backlog. So there they now talk. So here the scrum master only listens for what we call impediments or obstacles. So if there's anything that would, let's say now they are going to look for location, they don't have fuel. That fuel that they don't have to go to look for location is an impediment or an obstacle. Okay. So the Scrum Master has to make sure that those impediments are removed by saying, okay, this fuel that you don't have, how can we resolve this problem? Who can we go and meet? Those are the things you guys talk about in the daily scrum to make sure that at the end of this 1 week, everything here is done. You know, so it can also be anything. So impediments can be internet problem. It can be a developer that is sick or a developer that don't have access. It can be anything. So, but you, the Scrum Master, you hear it and then you begin to help them to resolve it. Sometimes they resolve it themselves, but you're just making sure that they are resolving it and they are not just going back to sleep. Because at the end of this 1 week, you, the customer, you will come to this meeting that is called the sprint review, and they will show you everything they have done within this sprint cycle of 1 week. So by the end of that 1 week, they come and they say, okay, see the location we have found. And that location must meet what you asked for. So this is an event, this is an event, this is an event, this is an event, this is an event. All these events are what the Scrum Master facilitates. Then at the end of the sprint, the 2 events at the end of the sprint is this review where they demo what they have done, which is what the business wants, and that is what is in the sprint backlog or the customer wants. Then we have what is called the sprint retrospective. This is where they sit down and they reflect. How did we do in this sprint, this 1 week sprint? Did we do well? Was the customer happy? Did we interact properly? Our communication, was it good? This is an event for continuous improvement because Agile is all about continuously improving. Exactly. So this event is for you to sit and reflect. And this is just a high-level summary of everything you'll be doing as a Scrum Master.
All right. Thank you so much. I have another question to ask. What is the easiest or the fastest certification or the duration before you can get the certification for the Scrum Master?
So the Scrum certification, there are different types. Now, as we are here, and because we are all sisters and can show you guys some of them, now we have this website called scrum.org. Scrum.org has their certification in such a way that you don't need a trainer. You can just come here, you can buy your certification. It's $150. You come to professional Scrum Master, they have for product owner, they have for developer. You can just pay and do it. Now, the challenge with this exam is very hard. You don't need a trainer for this. You just click buy, it's $150, and then it's for life. You just, once you buy it, they give you exam code. The exam code is what you will use, and then you take the exam. Now, the exam, remember, is hard. So most people need trainers before
format,
they can do it.
What is it? Like optional questions or?
It's okay. Let me show you this. This is what it looks like. They have some open assessment. So for anybody that wants to take this, just reach out to me. I can help you because we are sisters. I can do that. Now, they have this open assessment where you can practice. This is what the exam looks like. Now, this one says 30 for 30 minutes, but the real exam is 80 questions for 1 hour. And you have to have a minimum of 85% pass mark. Now, this is what the format looks like. This one is practice. You can also use the practice. So it's multiple choice. Who is on the Scrum team? Like now I've taught you, is developers, is Scrum Master, is product owner. Boom. You move to exactly. This is what it is. So it's practice and a lot. If you're somebody that know how to read a lot, you can practice this thing and go and take that exam. And then it's called the Professional Scrum Master and it's for life. It's not renewable. Yes.
What if you fail? Are there options for receipt?
If you fail, is your money that have gone. Remember, it's 150, you can come back, you pay another 150, you take again. So those are the challenges with scrum.org. But you can come to this open assessment. I will put the link there. Now, this open assessment has Scrum, product owner, developer. If you want to teach yourself, I will advise that just be taking all these things. Do them until you start having 100% continuously for, and then you're finishing it within 15 minutes, you're finishing it and getting 100%. Then you are now sure that you'll be able to pass it. So this is just to help people. You don't need a trainer for this one. Now, this is the only certification that you don't need a trainer. All the other certifications, you need a certified trainer to be able to get them. And those ones you have to pay the trainer. The trainer will be the only one that can register. I trained people for some of them. I will show you the ones I trained. I trained people for Scaled Agile. So for Scaled Agile, this one is for SAFe. Remember, I told you Scrum and SAFe are the two certifications that you need to be able to start this journey. Let me just go straight to show you some of this. I don't want to log in. So why is it doing all this? Okay. So for this one, you need a trainer. You need a certified trainer to be able to assess anything here, So I just want to see if I can show you some of their certifications without going too far. So this one is for 1 year. Now, I don't recommend this for people that are not in the US yet, because this is a lot of companies in the US are big on SAFe. But this one, which is the scrum.org, for those in Nigeria, a PSM certification is enough for you. They are not doing Scaled Agile yet. Now, Scrum is just on one level. Scaled Agile is building on top of what Scrum has done. So it's on another level. And a lot of countries have not started scaling Agile yet. So I wouldn't even recommend this for people that are not in advanced countries like UK, US. There are some countries in Europe that are not even scaling yet. So you have to know what your country is really looking for and then go for those ones. So if you're not in some of these advanced countries, I will not recommend this for you because you'll just be wasting your money. And you have to renew this every year. So this certification is every year. Let me just show you some of the certifications because I don't want to just log into the thing. They have product owner, product manager. They have Scrum. This is the one for the Scrum Master, which is SSM. And when you take it, this is a 16 hours training. At the end of the training, it gives you access to their website. They have a lot of resources that helps you to also be successful as a Scrum Master. Now, this scrum.org also has a lot of resources, but they are open source. You don't have to pay for them. So if you're in Nigeria, you can just get only this PSM. You can reach out to me. I can help you in how to pass this faster. And this will also give you a lot of information. They also have the one for product owner as well. It's 150. The first level is 150, the PSP01. And you can be doing those assessments until you pass. Now for this one is a 16 hours training. After 16 hours, then you take an exam. So the cost usually comes with course material. The fee, whatever is charged, comes with course material, access to the Scaled Agile website, all the information, and then the exam, everything that is listed here. You have a lot of tools, materials, resources that you can download and you can be using every day. So this one is for SAFe. This is for the Scrum Master. And then they also have the one for the product owner. Their product owner certification is product owner / product manager. So I always like it for those that want to become product managers. You can get this dual certification.
The interesting thing I just saw there, Anne, you can actually even enroll your teens, like your kids. That's what I'm saying.
Yes. There. Yes, you can.
That's really interesting.
Yes. So this is the same thing, just like the Scrum Master. You get you have to write an exam, you get all the tools and resources, you have 1 year membership to the community. So after 1 year, you have to renew. I think the renewal fee for this one is $275. $275 or $295 every year you have to pay for this one. Then the third one The third popular one is the CSM, which is the Scrum Alliance. Now, the Scrum Alliance as well, you need a certified trainer. Scrum Alliance will not allow you to enroll. You need a certified trainer to be able to get this one, Scrum Alliance, which is the CSM. So the CSM certification is Certified Scrum Master. And depending on whichever trainer you get, then the charge. So the fee is usually different. I train for this one as well. But if you're not in the US, I always just tell people, save your money. If you can read very well, do the scrum.org. Because this one too is renewable. CSM, you get every 2 years, you have to renew. The CSPO is for the product owner, and then they also have the one for developers. The one for developers are not very common because most developers don't even care. They already have their certifications from wherever they are coming from. So these are the main ones that are popular. This
Yeah, but
CSM,
this
the
should
CSPO.
also go for other countries, because when you say
Yes,
US,
this goes for other countries as well. But what I'm saying is, if you have a PSM, the PSM is equal to a CSM. You don't need the two.
Okay.
So PSM is for life. You never renew it. And you don't need a trainer to be able to get it. CSM, you need a trainer. You cannot just come and register. You need to get a trainer, like a certified trainer. I train for this as well. So only a certified trainer can give you CSM. So you need a trainer, and then you have to renew it every 2 years.
So
and
will
I think
I
this
pay
one
the trainer
too,
and pay this Scrum Alliance?
No. So when you pay, depending on how much the trainer charges, right? Let's assume your pay, whatever is a flat rate. So the trainer is the one that pays Scrum Alliance, just like the
for
safe.
you. Yeah, I get
I
it.
am the one, exactly. I am the one that will now pay safe and say, okay, these are the number of people that are in my class. So I pay them, and then your own is, they give me a link, they send you a link immediately. I register your name. As soon as I register your name, they send you a link, you create an account, and then that is it from there. Immediately after the class, I put in the attendance. So all these certifications are 16 hours each. This is 16 hours certification, this is 16 hours. So they normally recommend 2 days of it. Like if you try to find a course now, you will see everybody training it is usually 16 hours. So 2 days of 8 hours for the training, and then you're done. So if you have a CSM, don't bother about the PSM. But PSM, remember, right now, they are not charging anything for it. You can just read and get your stuff. Or you can get somebody to mentor you by the side, and then you go and take the exam. You don't need a trainer for this one. And then you also have a lot of materials here as well that are open source. You don't have to pay for it, and it's for life. You don't renew it. So I always recommend people, especially people in Nigeria, because if you're in Nigeria, it's going to be hard for you to be able to be keeping up paying for some of these things, and it's easy for you to lose it. So I always prefer get a certification that is for life. Once you get it, you'll never renew it, and you still have all the materials, and all you have to do is, if you're not very good in reading and passing by yourself, you can pay. I mentor people and help them with this. So you can pay a mentor, and then they help you through some of this process in passing it and getting it. So that's another route. If you feel overwhelmed, because I've seen people that had to do this thing like 3 times before they ended up passing it, because the exam is not that easy. So, but if you have so the story is this. The 2 people that started Scrum Alliance, right? Ken Schuber and Jeff Sutherland, both of them were friends. They started Scrum Alliance. Then I don't know what happened. One of them now broke away. Let me even open it. One of them now broke away, and he's the one that now went to start scrum.org. So you get the gist. So it's the same thing. So Ken Schuber and Jeff Sutherland started these 2 companies, started the Scrum Alliance, and then one of them got angry. I don't know what happened, broke away, and went to start scrum.org. So let me put, where is that their face, Steph? This is a Nigerian lady, by the way. She's also she's the one, I'm her mentor. She's my mentor, sorry. So she's on the board. Anu. She's a Yoruba lady. She lives in Dallas and she's really awesome. So she's one of the few Black people that have made it this far in the Agile space. So let's see. I'm trying to look for the
One day
name
we
of.
will see you for there, Annie.
Amen. Oh. Amen. So I'm trying to look for those two people's names. So one of them now broke away and went to start scrum.org. So as he went to start the scrum.org, he now started doing some other things that this Scrum Alliance are not doing, but the certification is exactly the same thing. So once you have PSM, you don't need a CSM. If you have CSM, you don't need a PSM. So because they're the same thing. Right. But this one, you have to renew it. And I think the renewal fee, as at the last time, is 200 and something. I'm not very sure. I have to check. I know SAFE is 275. So you have to renew this one every 2 years. Let me see if I can find it.
Look at it there in the middle. Look at it. Renew your certification. Go back there.
Okay, where? In the middle?
Go back to where you went before. Straight down.
Okay. Right. So let's see how much it is, because I put it here for you to see. Renew now. Okay, I have to log in. Let me see if it will be written down somewhere. I know. Okay, yeah, see it here. So CSM is $100. So the renewal fee for CSM is 100. Then the advanced one is 175. Then the CSP is 250. So yeah. So that's it. So it's 100. Whereas, and you renew every 2 years. Then for the SAFE is 275. And that one is every year. But you don't need that one now, especially if you're not, it's US that is very big in SAFE. So these are the three common websites to get certified. The other ones are not very important. If you want to start your Scrum Master journey, these are these three websites. But for now, especially those that are not in the US and UK, those are the two countries I know right now, they are very big in SAFE. Don't bother. Just do either this Scrum Alliance or do the scrum.org that I put in the chat. Okay. Any other questions? We've really gone over time.
Thank you so much, Annie. Thank you so much for that session. Guys, please ask a question. Ask a question. How do you see this becoming reality for you? I expect your questions should be in that to be heading that way. What are your challenges? If no questions, we'll round up. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. I was actually asking Anna if we'll have a twofold presentation on this, but I'm really glad she's been able to squeeze in a lot. But let's remember that Anna is also on the group. And if you're, especially those of us looking forward to migrating, this is something that is really, to be honest, if I knew this beforehand, I don't think my job search would have been as difficult as it was, because I see Scrum everywhere. At a point, I got so angry, like, what is this Scrum thing?
I agree with you.
What is this Scrum thing? I got so angry. Like, when you look at it, it's like, wow, almost how many jobs you're looking for. Even as an engineer, you see, be a Scrum Master, be a project owner, and all of that. It is something that is very lucrative if you're looking forward to migration. And then those of us who have already migrated, you need to start thinking out of the box as a woman, because with the challenge of, what I call it, isolated mothering in the Western world, it is really very, very lucrative for you to look into. And thank God there's that option where you don't even have to. Joyce's hand is up. Joyce, go ahead.
Thank you very much.
You started it. Is that a Nigerian?
So I didn't join in time, and at some point I was already very lost. I was like, hey, what's happening? What's this Scrum thing and the rest? So, but I think I was able to get an understanding. But my question now is more like Mama Lizzie said, it's more like a Nigerianish kind of question. You know how people say, let's come together and put money together and hire one taxi, so we have just one driver. Or instead of us paying separate, I think it happened to me and my friends one time. Instead of calling 3 different Uber, say why not? We all going the same way, so we just paid one fare. So my question is, if I have a group of people that want you to be a Scrum person, is it possible to do that kind of collaboration?
That's a very good question, and that's actually what I did too. So when I started this Scrum journey, because I was coming from a project management background, even though I had a good knowledge about project management, I still needed to, because what will really help you is understanding these terminologies. And you will see that it's not hard, but you have to be sinking in. So what I did was I had to form, me and one lady and one guy, we had to form a group. We're meeting every other day for 1 hour, just reading, open a YouTube video, watch YouTube video, talk about it. All of us landed jobs within 1 month of doing that. We started, I think, November. Yes, by December, we all started getting jobs because it helped us not to relax and also help us to learn fast. Because this is one of the all of us are coming from different backgrounds, but we had a common goal, which is to get a Scrum Master job. And the only way we could achieve that was to read. Because to be honest, you cannot do this thing just, even after the training, you still need to read for you to go for an interview and convince them that you can do this job. Exactly. To connect those things, you have to just keep practicing it. Watching YouTube videos, reading is not easy, especially for those of us that are adults. Too many things. So you have to just intentionally create that time and come together as a
Be
group.
accountable.
And
Accountability.
Yes. So if you can do that, that will really help you. You can even do that and take your exam together too.
I wasn't really talking of just the group study. For example, you said you coach. So if on that safe,
Collaborative coaching is what she's talking about, Anne. So they come and pay together.
Oh, okay.
You know,
For all of you to come together,
you know, our Naija people,
you.
that $150 is not small money. So
okay, so is she saying she wants me to coach
they
them?
want to do joint payment to you? Like, if they're paying you as a coach and they cannot afford it individually, can they do collabo payment? Right, Joycey?
Yes, where like 3 people put 50 together, and yet we still get our individual lanes, just kind of. That's why I said
But you know that 150 is not my money. It's not my money.
I'm talking of the other part.
The other coaching part. Do you understand, Anna? So apart from paying the organization for their certificate, that's alongside coaching that is needed. They need to pay you for it too, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that's
okay. So she wants to do like a group. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I can work with you. That's okay. Whatever you guys decide. And how many people want to do this?
Let them go and think about it, and then we will see really how realistic it is for a lot of people in the group to do that. Because I really understand. As we are talking dollar now in Nigeria, I think a dollar is exchanging for 400 and something naira, Abi, a dollar. So it's not beans, to be honest. The affordability of it.
That's fine. But what I would just say is, anybody that wants to take the exam, I can at least help, because I'll prefer that you don't waste your money, so that you just take it once and pass.
Raise your hand. Where are you? Okay, yeah. Blessing, open mic.
I'm here. Oh, yes, I put my hand.
Don't worry, we will not mind the baby crying. Go ahead.
And they have jobs in Nigeria. For those of you that are in Nigeria,
I think I'm going to stop recording now so that this video will not be too large for our Naija people. I'll stop recording and we can take questions and then pray. We have 26 minutes. I'll stop recording. I think the information is enough for those who are not here so that people can